This is going to be a quick tutorial on how to create gradient backgrounds using Photoshop. These can be used for videos, they can be used for regular images, flyers, or anything else you want a nice clean gradient background for. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up Photoshop. And once you have it open, go to the top left corner and click File and then New. It's going to give you some options for your new file you're creating. And so what you want to do is first set the width to 1280, the height to 720, and the resolution to 100. And then the background content should be white. Now this is for a 720p video. If it were a 1080p video, the width would be 1920 and the height would be 1080p. So now you have your new image. On the right hand side of the page, you're going to see the area where all the layers are listed. The first layer that's created is locked. So you want to right click on it. Then you're going to click duplicate layer. Background copy is what we're going to call it. Click OK. Now make sure we're clicked on that new layer we created, and then come down to the bottom of the screen and you're going to see this little FX that stands for effects. Click on that. You're going to have some options. We're going to choose gradient overlay. This is the box, the dialog box that comes up, and by default you're going to have your white to black linear gradient style. If you click reverse, the black will be at the top and the white will be at the bottom. For this tutorial we're going to keep it the way it is with the white at the top. So the next thing we want to do is look at the different kind of styles of gradients that are available to you. Although in this video we're going to work on the linear. You see that there's a radial, there's a reflected, there's a diamond. So going back to the linear, we want to change the color of the black. So we like the white. So what you're going to do is you're going to come down, you see this little slider here, just click on that bottom left one and then click on the color inside the color box. Your color options are going to come up and you can just start to play around with that and change it to whatever color you want to. So this is kind of a red, a gray, dark gray. You can make it whatever color you want to. So for this video, I think let's just stick with the red. So once you got that, if you wanted to change the white to another color at the bottom, you would just go ahead and click that white option, but we're just working on the red. Now look at this scale feature. So by default it's set at 100. If you raise it up to 150, you can kind of see how it changes the gradient. If you drop it to 0, it's not much of a blend at all. 100 is what it's set at by default, and that's what we'll put it back at. But just know that that option is there. If you don't like the amount of red that's at the bottom, you can increase the scale to push the red down a little bit more and just make it a little bit lighter or a little bit more blended at the bottom. So that's really it. So after that, you just save your file. I would recommend saving it as a JPEG and then naming it something that's going to be easier to recognize. Make sure when you're naming it that you have the colors in the name. I like to put background just so when I'm looking through a bunch of images I can clearly identify what kind of image it is. But this is a background white to red linear gradient. Then I always like to make sure I put the size, because depending on what you're using the image for, the size can be important. So again, I'm creating this one for a 720p video, so 1280 by 720 is what I put in the file name. I like to create a maximum size file, highest quality 12, then just save it. And that's it. Simple as that. So play around with it and